Hello everyone, I'm Duke James. This is Hungary 3.0. I went ahead in time a lot to try and look at things, see how they progressed. So the big thing I saw actually was that commerce. I put my merchants in I believe it was the Adriatic, Hansa, the Aegean, Lower Danube. I think those were the main four. I might have put one in the Black Sea if I had one, and I noticed that my commerce income, at least in pest, went to negative. So not the profitability, because the profitability is actually negative right now, but the actual income went negative. So the income went negative, and then the actual industry itself dropped down to 160 size. So the industry itself retracted about 50 to 60 units of size. So it was, when I put those merchants in those nodes, it turned unprofitable. Really unprofitable. Because the income actually went negative. So it was making negative income and losing money from spending, which is what it's supposed to do. So it was getting hit double whammy. So I imagine it was something to do with me putting merchants in end nodes that were more urbanized than the provinces that I own. So we must have been selling raw materials to them and buying their goods and then just losing money somehow. So I actually moved them away from those nodes and I put them into the nodes that flowed into mine. So like Ruthenia, the Vistula, Black Sea, Caucasus, and the profit actually went back to positive. Income, I think the income still went negative a couple times, but the commerce size has gone back up to 212. It peaked at like 223 and then dropped to 160. Now it's back to 212. So I think trading in those highly urbanized end nodes is not good unless you're also highly urbanized. Since we produce raw materials, we probably want to stay out of those nodes. That is my assumption. I opened a bunch of industries in this province. This province is the one that has peasants owning a lot, pretty much all of the gold mines. The peasants in this province, there's about 43,000. There's about 23,000 40 years ago. They have about 14,000 gold. They spend 121 ducats on consumption, so their life needs are pretty much met, which is why the population is pretty much doubled in this province. Yeah, their life needs are 201%, 288%, 298%. There's a lot in that province. The thing is, peasants should upgrade to residence, potentially. So I think the residence did increase to about 3,500-ish thousand. So I think some peasants moved up to residence. I put the urban industries to try and get more residents here because the AI built amenities. So I was going to try to build up this province. So plant fibers, timber, game, housewares, and armaments. I think housewares was there from the start because it's 100 skill. But all the industries except plant fibers are making money. Game industry is making plus 279%. It's not actually a lot in concrete numbers, but I think the game industry is really powerful, so I think that's something that I would want to open up in as many provinces as possible at the start of the game. There is a new Alpha 20. This is Alpha 19 right now, so The reason why I went ahead about 40, 50 years is because I wanted to see just how things progressed in that time before I actually moved to Alpha 20, because Alpha 20 is not save compatible. So I'll probably leave this save and then start over from the beginning, because I have learned a lot. I've learned what not to do. Definitely don't want to piss off the estates like I did at the start, making the nobles mad by seizing stuff. Probably not going to seize stuff from the nobles. I also learned that there's factions. So them hating you, which pretty much everybody hates us. Metropolitans are neutral. Bureaucrats are neutral. Chiefs are neutral. There are no chiefs, so that makes sense. But spiritualists and the aristocrats pretty much hate us. There is only neutral, and what that does is affects legitimacy gain. So I imagine that's why our legitimacy, for the most part, is in the tank. We did give the nobles a lot of those legitimacy favors, so that's having good relations with the factions in this screen will give you more legitimacy. And that's that faction support down near the bottom, above corruption. So that's something, if you want legitimacy, you want to keep this high. The interactions between estates, so metropolitans, how the metropolitans view the aristocrats doesn't do anything. It's not in the game yet. The Ottomans all of a sudden just started conquering everything, so the Ottomans definitely got really powerful. They have about 20,000 troops, so if they actually attacked me, I'm not sure right now I'd be able to hold them off. Probably manage it, actually, because I'm allied to Austria and Poland. It would just be pretty tight. The other thing is Lithuania got really crazy in terms of expanding. January 12th. Muscovy got big. They kind of expanded out. They have a little bit more room for expansion, but they're pretty much going to be at odds with Lithuania soon. But yeah, Lithuania conquered pretty much all of the White Horde. And the Ottomans are close to conquering all of the Balkans. They've split me off from here. I think in the next campaign I'll actually conquer stuff. The Balkans. Austria's been fighting a lot as well. So the AI actually, they're not horrible. They do expand. Actually, let's look at the world. Yeah, pretty much the expansion is in Europe for the most part. Looks like Hindustan lost Multan. The Timurids showed up, actually, up here. And apparently they have Multan as a vassal. How many troops do they have? Timurids. They have 16,000 troops, 26 force limits. I imagine if they fought Fars, they'd probably beat them. Fars has 30,000 troops, force limit 32. They at war? They're at war. That's actually a lot of troops. I think that's because the autonomy changes, so they took over they inherited the Chupinids, and now since the autonomy has changed, Fars is a lot less screwed in the early game because of the changes to tax collection, so they should actually be able to hold off Timurids. China. Okay, Mongol Empire. So the Yuan I don't know how to pronounce that. I think they formed the Mongol Empire in 1449. And alright, Mongols. Mongols combat ability. Pax Mongolica trade range commerce production and efficiency. Submission of the Song Diplo Rep. Mandate growth modifier. Idea cost, missionary strength, tolerance of heretics. So I have seen the Mongol Empire in other campaigns. So I think that's something that probably comes about reliably. It's probably not much of a fluke that they're here. That's interesting. Especially if you're like Russia, you're gonna have to fight the Mongol Empire for all this. Once useless, I guess. It's probably not as useless as before, but not particularly great territory. India kind of looks the same. Alright, let's go back. Alright, the AI accidentally went ahead while I was in observe mode. The AI loves messing with policies. So they've changed my policies. They also spent money. What did they spend money on? I think they built... Either they built a garrison up here, or the province built a garrison. Interesting. I conquered Bosnia to get access to Hum, and I put merchants in the Adriatic and Tyrrhenian. And pretty much the same thing as before happened. I lost commerce income, so yeah, probably don't want to do that. Well, they built a castle here. I think they're just building castles. Yeah, they built a castle here too. It's actually not bad. It's on the borders with the Ottomans. They're trying to convert this province. Okay. Yeah, definitely don't think I'm strong enough to... If I wanted to fight the Ottomans offensively, don't think I'm in the best position for that. I spent a lot of manpower. I noticed I got volunteers. I got access to the volunteers tax. It actually increased my spending on manpower a lot. Because you pay for your manpower pool. So you're not paying for your troops. You're paying for your manpower pool. So if you increase your manpower pool, then you're going to spend more money. So my spending on manpower maintenance increased from like 4 ducats to 7 ducats because I increased my manpower from, I think, around 16,000 to 27,000. So I'm paying like almost double for going from 16,000 to 27,000 manpower. And so the nobles should help pay for some of that, except I think I've weakened the nobles. I did get them back to about 80% loyalty. Didn't do much for reducing manpower maintenance, but I think if I don't take anything from them, they should pay a significant amount of the military costs. Because I think they pay up to 4% of their income, something like that. So if their income is high, then they'll pretty much take care of the manpower for you. The AI also built ships. They built 3 different ships. I don't want your ship's AI. Also, the other thing is when you do reforms, if you do reforms at less than 1 stability, you will get this reforming during instability will upset everyone. So I think I did that a couple times. You can avoid that by getting your stability to 1. That just pisses everybody else off, all of the other estates. So even if you only do like something that should normally just affect the nobles, you do it while your Rome is apparently unstable. You'll make the nobles, the burghers, the clergy, and the clans mad. So you definitely want to get to 1 stability before you do some reforms. Which actually isn't really that bad, since you can just provide temporary tax relief for 50% progress towards stability, provide grain for the commoners. There's a whole bunch of ways to get stability. And stability naturally trends towards 0, so if you're negative stability, it's not really that bad. Because you will eventually get back there, assuming you don't do too many more negative stability events. Alright, apparently I have an extra merchant. Keeps going away. I don't think I have enough urban industries. I think when I start over, I should put a lot more industries, a lot more urban industries in my cities. Because there are 3 or 4, maybe 5 provinces in Hungary that have a decent amount of residents, above 10,000. So you can build higher education industries in those provinces. I think I should build other urban industries as well to try and get those industries going before too long. And then, of course, only invest piecemeal into the rural infrastructure. Alright, so I'm going to end this here, and then in the next part, pick it up from Alpha 20, which has, there's a couple changes in there. I'll probably talk more about those in the next episode. So thank you for watching, and goodbye.